Hello, welcome to Lucy's Big Beautiful World of Painting. My name is Lucy Aida. I have a really great class for you today, a special class where I'm going to be painting the Northern Lights. I looked up a little bit about the Northern Lights and was going to explain it, but decided go ahead and read it on your own. It's a little too complex for me to explain on a painting show. But I will be using colors that are common in the Northern Lights, and very limited palette for today, which is titanium white, cadmium red, ultramarine blue, and ivory black. I'll be using Wilson Bickford products. I'm one of his certified instructors, and I mostly teach his methods and methods of my own. Today is my own original painting, and I hope you enjoy it. I do want to say, though, that this is a painting that should take much longer than the time you're going to see me paint it in. So I'll be painting in fast motion. When you paint at home, try to view the video once or twice, then get all your supplies out and turn it on and off while you're watching me, okay? So I'm going to do it pretty fast. So just to get started, I'm going to put a moon in my painting before I start putting some color on, and you will be able to see better once I start to get the color on, because of course I have already painted the canvas in black, or you can buy a black canvas like this one. Actually, this wasn't painted by me. I bought it black, and I put on a clear glazing medium. This way my paint will move faster and more efficiently blend together. So what I'm going to do up here is I'm just going to start by putting in a moon. Now, I'm not going to pay much attention to if it's too circular or not. So I'm just using my fan brush here, and I'm painting in that moon. I could take time and put a reflection around it, but I'm not going to. When you do your painting, you can put a reflection around the moon. And if you look at some of my other videos, you'll see that I've done that before. It's just that you'll blend out some white paint around it. I'd like to get into the color more. So I'm going to pick up a 2-inch scenery brush and going right into the Cad Red. Oh, I'm sorry, not Cad Red, made a mistake. I changed it the last minute. This is Red Rose. Red Rose Deep. Excuse me for that. It's a little brighter and a little rosier in color. There we go. So I'm putting quite a bit of paint on my brush right now. This is a 2-inch scenery, like I said. And just going to come in over the glazing medium and get some of this red. Now you may not be able to see this, but I just want you to see how I'm putting it on. I'm putting on red Rose Deep here, because I'm going to put the white over it, and it's going to pick up the red underneath. So there we go. So we have some red, and without cleaning the brush, I'm going into the ultramarine blue. If it comes out a little purple, that's fine too. Here we go. I'm going to put a lot, oops, mixed up that color. That's okay. And I say oops a lot. And we just continue. With oil painting, you can say oops and keep going. All right. So, not sure if you can see that, but there is the blue and the red. And it will show as soon as I put that white over it. I'm going to come, take a little more blue. I'm just putting some down here, because down here I'm going to have some reflection in some water. And we do want a lot of that black showing, and that's what's going to make it look even more reflective. Coming back in that red. Again, Red Rose Deep. And there we go. Rubbing some of that in. Not sure how much is going to show. We'll see once we get our brush through it. And our water is going to be coming down, so I'm just going to move that paint down and across. There we go. Now we're going to start with our Northern Lights. Now, it can be done with a variety of brushes, the Northern Lights. I'm going to start with the fan brush. I'm not putting on that much paint. Okay, I'm just loading up the fan brush, both sides, and I'm going to have my Northern Lights come this way. I'm going to leave that moon there. And I'm just tapping it right through the color. You can see it's starting to pick up some of that color. And that's what we want. Come and do another one, making it a little wider. Now, like I said, at home, you should be going this slow. Okay, but I don't have luxury of going that slow. So I just want to show you this lesson, and when you work on it at home, take your time. There we go. Now, right now, it just looks like 3 crooked white stripes, but wait till you see what we do now. This is what makes it look like the Northern Lights. I'm going to take a paper towel and just wipe off my brush a little, and we'll see if we need more paint. And I'm going to start lifting up. Lifting, lifting. Now I'm coming over to the other side of it and lifting. And I'm smearing, or I should say blending in the colors. And hopefully by now you can see how some is picking up some of the color, how the white is now going into the color underneath. Oops, there we go. And I'm just lifting it, lifting it, lifting it. I'll come on the other side and lift it a little more. In a second I'll have to stand back because I'm right on top of it right now, so it's a little bit hard for me to see. Same thing with our third one. I'm lifting it, and you can see it's picking up that blue that you couldn't see before, and it's also picking up that nice red rose color underneath it. So I'm smearing up, pulling it a little down just because the top of my easel is in the way. And I want to move some over. There we go. Now, like I said, take your time at home. You could be a little neater. You could pull some of this down. I read a little bit about the red in the Northern Lights, and that means that the lights are up 200 miles in the sky. And that is the most rarest of the colors. There we go. So I'm going to step back a little and see if I need to make any adjustments. And looks like I have a lot of light in between. So what I would do is take a mop brush, and we can just smear some of this and neaten it up a little bit. I have just a little bit too much in there. Now, like I said, at home, you'll take your time. Just going to blend a little, just so it looks a little bit neater, and then we'll go right on and move to our mountains, which I'm going to put in the middle of the canvas. They're a little bit off in the middle. If I have time, I can come back later and I can neaten those up and work on them a little. Maybe I'll move some of that paint over. There we go. Like I said, you'll take your time with it, do it a lot neater at home, but you can see the colors in here, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for that white lines and the colors. Okay, so let's go on. Next, what I'd like to do is put in a mountain range in the middle. So I'm going to take some black, a little bit of white. Now, lots of times I start out with a very dark color. I'm lightening it a little bit because, for the camera's sake, this way you'll be able to see it a little bit better. I'm mixing a little medium in there. All right, I want to add a little blue. Make it a little grayish blue color. There we go. Take some of that paint off. Now, just say we'll start about here. Maybe I'll add a little more white, afraid that you can't see it. And I'm just going to create a mountain range. I'm going to put a dip under here because I'm going to have this light from the moon showing over here. So I'm just going to quickly paint this in for you. Going right up into those lights. I'm picking up some of that blue, and that's okay. Make a nice little mountain range here. There we go. So I'm just quickly going to paint some of this in. And then we're going to use a palette knife and put some colors on there. Make some nice snow on there. Of course, the Northern Lights are in the Arctic, so there is a lot of snow on the mountains there. There we go, a little dip. And there is a little mountain range there showing. I might make it a little bit longer here. And I think you should be able to see that now. I added a little bit more white in there. Just going back and forth with my fan brush. I'm not using a lot of paint. You might be able to hear how I'm just rubbing that in. It had that layer underneath, so that helps. It is drying a little bit, but that's okay. There we go. All right, could always make adjustments if we have a little time later on. So I'm going to go to a large palette knife. This is an 18 by 24 canvas, so I'm using a large knife. When I use a smaller canvas, I'll use a smaller knife. So first what I'd like to do is I'm going to take some of this ultramarine blue and I'm going to move it over. I'm going to add a little bit of white in here. And we want to get a bluish color to make it look like a dark shadow. I may even add a little black just to tone that down a little so it's not so bright. All right, there we go. I'll try that color and see how that works. So what I'm going to do is I'm just flattening out the paint now, and I'm lifting up a bead. Okay, it's a little messy, but that's okay for mountains. And I'm going to get some of this blue on here. So let's make it look like it's dark on this side. And I may even come back and make it a little darker and add some other color, another little bit of gray maybe. So this will be the dark side. And then I'm going to wipe this knife off, excuse me, bend over a little bit, get my towel. Here, so easy, just wipe it off. Then go to straight white now. Same thing, taking a little bit, moving it over, spreading it out. It's okay if there's a little blue in there. And I'm taking the bead of paint. Over here, since our moon is there, I'm going to have some really bright on top there. And I'm just moving this knife down and around. No rhyme or reason to that. However it comes off the knife, that's where we're leaving it. There we go. And I'll turn it over. Try to get that other side without putting my hand in front of it. Okay. And let's get some more paint on there. So I'll come in here, put a little bit more white. I'm not going to put this vivid white on this side because this is in a little bit of a shadow here. Just to give a little more interest to the painting. We want to have lights and darks, so I'm just kind of putting a little bit just so it stands out, but not like this white over here. I'm even going to make this a little heavier in here. There we go. I'm just spreading it out a bit. So now underneath that moon is where we have that brightest of the white. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put my knife down. Worry about cleaning that in a little bit. I want to come down into the reflection. This will be the reflection, okay? I'm going to just run my big brush with that paint still in it just at the edge of this white. I'm barely putting any on. And I'm going to come down here and just pull down just to get a reflection. It's not going to be accurate of the northern lights above, but we just want to show that there is some reflection. Okay? And that's what really, really makes the painting pop out. Here we go. I can see some of the blue and some of this red on this side. I can try to turn it a little bit, see if we get a little reflection on the side a little, but I think it looks good straight up and down like that. Okay? Now, I'd like to put some snow on both sides. So, we can use a variety of brushes for snow. My bounce brush, which is primarily used for clouds and for trees, can be used for snow on an angle when we're going back and forth. So I'm just taking up a lot of this paint in this brush, kind of bouncing it in a little. But what I want to do is, you can see how much I have, I'm going to move this paint back and forth. And this is going to be our snow. Now, I want to leave some of that water showing, okay? So, I like that reflection. This is a brand new brush. I'm losing some bristles. I'll show you in a second how to pick those up. Just want to show you which way we're going. I'm going to put some snow on both sides. And I want to make it so it has a nice little pattern to it, that it's not just straight across or even. All right, so it's okay if it goes into that color. That's good because it looks like the snow is reflecting on some of that color in the water. So I'm picking some of it up. That's going to make it look like shadows in the snow, so that's good. I can hold the brush straight up and down and go across. Now this could be done also with the fan brush, okay? But for sake of time, this is going faster. So I'm going to use my bounce brush for a little bit. Now, these bristles that are coming up, you just need to flick those up with the brush and it should pick them all up. And wipe it on a paper towel. Here we go. So get some of those off. Oops. They're gonna love me for that. I just splattered some snow onto the studio floor. I'm sure they're gonna love that one. We'll get that later too. And that's one of my whoops moments. Here we go. Back to my snow. All right. There we go. There is the snow, and hopefully now you can see the perspective of the painting now that I'm getting this white in the front of it. So I'm just moving back and forth. You see I'm like just scrubbing it in, okay? So I'm gonna move along pretty fast here. Like I said, please take your time at home, because if you take your time with this, you'll make a very beautiful painting. Gonna come along the bottom and have it go in a little deeper. So this looks like maybe there's some land mass underneath and it's kind of going in and out. There we go. You can hear my brush scrubbing. This brush can take it. It can take the scrubbing. There we go. It's good. Some of that black is showing through. We'll get a little more snow over here. We'll work on a few reflections, and I'll show you how to cut off the reflection so it looks like there's rippling. I'm going to do that with a palette knife. So this is a really fun painting to do. Like I said, just make sure you watch it and then get your supplies, and then you can go back. Okay, and I'm going to step back in a minute and see if I have to change anything here. See where I'm going with this one. And okay, pretty good, pretty good. So what I would like to do is maybe come in from here, make it look like the snow is kind of coming off that cliff a little bit, so it doesn't look quite so straight across. Come in here, maybe do a little more. There we go. Little different pattern to the snow. I'm going to go back to my big palette knife, and I'm just going to move some of that white over. Doesn't have to be pure white. I'm going to cut off a little bit, and I'm going to come and cut right across. Hopefully my hand is not in the way. I'll try to move it down. I'm going to cut across. Now, when you cut across, that's going to make the reflection look even more pronounced. Okay, see, so I'm just doing it in different pattern, not symmetrical, just here and there, some longer, some shorter. There we go. I can take some more of the paint and even come in and put some mountains. I'm really putting a lot of paint on here and just kind of rubbing it in to make it look like the edge of the water. And I'm going to take a little more over here. I need a little more paint. And this will make it look like it's really going into the side where there was probably some grasses, meadow underneath there that can't be seen because it's covered with all the snow. So that really make it look icy. Okay, so come back over here. Now, you'll work on your land mass at home so you can have it come out into the water more. You can look on the internet, take a look at some nice pictures. I'll pull that out a little. See how I'm just kind of shaping it now as I'm going along. And that'll neaten up the edges. Like I said, in this amount of time, I can't be too neat, but as long as you get the lesson, that's the main purpose. You can get the lesson and you can work on it when you can at home. With oil paint, you can even start and then you can come back to it. So I'm just adding more paint, you can see. Keep adding more paint. Now it looks real icy, okay? So what would be nice to do, since we have that icy look, is to add even more reflection. So I want to add a little grass. I'm using a long liner brush and just coming into this white right here. Okay, and I did put some thinner on it, but with this long brush, it works much better if you thin it out and roll it, and then the paint will come right down. Okay, and you'll make some nice thin lines. So, for example, maybe I want to put a little something back here. Just some little grasses. And I'll do the same thing below. Now it'll look like it's coming right into the water. And that's how we get a nice reflection. Gives more interest. This little land mass coming out into the water, maybe we'll pull some up so it just looks like some grasses that some snow has stuck to. So you can see I'm using just the absolute tip, just the tip of it. All right, then we'll come down. Now it doesn't have to be exact, just so it looks like a reflection. And that's what really makes this painting look special. Pull up a couple more. I'm just putting them in various areas, just the idea that we have some here and there, and that's what really makes this so unique. Just looks like some snow-covered branches and what have you, okay? There, so that one, we have no room for a reflection, I'll just leave it. So that might be enough. I think you get the idea of that. So you'll work on that as you see fit, and put in as many as you want in your painting. Okay, so I have a little time, so what I'd like to do is I'm going to add a nice big tree on the side, and that will give it the painting more perspective. I did dip in some thinner there. Oops, dripping a little bit. I'm using a straight black right now, and I'll see how that works. And I'm going to have a big tree come right down through the northern lights. Oops, got a little too much paint on there. There we go. All right. Now, starting at the top, I'm just pushing right through my mountain, right into the land. Okay, I'm coming back. I want to make this darker, so I'm just going to try to put some. And it's okay if it's gray, because remember, it's snow, so it doesn't have to be that dark. All right, so but when you work on it at home, like I said, you'll take your time. Just want to show how you'll put this on. So we have a tree. Looks like it has reflection, which is good. I can go back to my knife. Notice I didn't even clean it. Take some more white paint over here. And I can come in on the side and put some markings, just like there's a reflection. I'm just pushing it over. All right, so at home you can put as many as you want. This will make it look like some of that light is showing, okay? On the bottom, you can even have some of the, some snow coming off the bottom of that tree like it was creeping up there. So I'm just using my filbert brush and just piling on some snow over here, bringing it out, okay? We'll get some branches on. I have some white left in my liner brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean it out real quickly, get some of that white off there. Okay, I'm going to go back into my black, and you can see again, I wanted that liquid in there. This way the paint will flow better. There we go. So I'm going just to the side of the pile, and let's pull out a couple branches and have them come right through the lights there. Okay, I won't have that much time to put too many, but I could at least get a couple on. See, I'm just dragging it, and I am pushing a little bit when I want those branches to be a little thicker, but I'm still using just the tip of it. Dragging. Some of those won't be able to see, okay? Can come in here and just kind of neaten that up at the edge, all right? The other thing is, once we get some branches on, we can go back to the white. And this is what makes this tree really show out, all right? I'm not worried if it's not that liquefied this time. I just left whatever was in there. Here we go. I'm going to come right on here. This is actually just laying some snow on those branches, and that's what's going to make them show out. I'm having a little trouble seeing from this side, but I hope that you at least understand what I'm doing here. So I'm just laying some of this snow on, all right? So let's put a little more on this guy. There we go. All right, so like I said, you can put as many or as little as you want to dress up your painting, all right? Then what we can do, we'll go back to my fan brush, and I didn't even clean it out because I'm going to go back into the black. So that was my fan brush that I used a white in, and that's okay. I'm just trying to get some black on there. Lost my room on my palette there, that's all right. So if I push and pull up, this will even give more perspective because it's going to look like I have some grasses that might have just been poking through. Just kind of, you can see what I did. I just kind of smeared those out. Can come over to the side here. Put a few more grasses here and there. just patting them down a little bit just so they look like they're in the snow. Okay. This is the whitest area on this side. We have that moon coming through. And you can put as many or as little of these as you want. And like I said, please take your time. This is the quick version of this painting. But I hope that you'll at least understand the lesson and what you'd have to do to get this kind of a look. So you can see I'm just poking, just pushing and getting a little more perspective, like I said. Okay. I'm putting a lot now. This way you can see, you can even pull some in the back here. All right, pull a little up over here. Looks like they're growing back up. So once you have your painting done like this, this is when you can start adding. You may want to add another tree in there. You may want to add some more branches. There's so much that you can do, depending on how much time that you have, okay? So I'm just going back into this black, and I have a little gray because it had some white in there, okay? And just getting some of that. Can come in here, can pull up some longer branches, or some grasses, sorry. Can come into as many as you can. Pull up a little, pull up. Looks like you have some nice grasses here and there. Okay. So, lots that can be done with this. You can keep adding and adding. You can come back and make that nice moon glow. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time to do that, but you can look up a couple of my other videos, and I do have a moon glow. So again, you can add more branches. You can add another tree. If you'd like to, you can add some little trees, maybe some pine trees. You can use a bounce brush and put a tree in. I like how this moon is nice and white and comes down here. We have this white, we have this blue on the side. So I hope that makes sense. The main thing for this lesson is that it makes sense so that if you decide to do it, you can do it on your own, okay? So, putting in a few more little, I keep saying branches, but they're little grasses. Like, I guess they could be branches, okay? And there we go. So, like I said, make sure you watch it a couple times. That'll help you gather your supplies, then start painting. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And you can contact me at my email at painted4U@yahoo.com. You can come to my site and see all of my videos at www.lucysworldofpainting.com. And I would love to hear from you. Let me know that you like the painting and that you want to see more. So again, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you again real soon.